Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Susie Beiler. I am a forerunner and emissary of source codes and the lead facilitator and founder in the Creation Temple. And I'm wondering if anyone else is waking up in the morning with like swollen eyes, like you've been crying all night. I think maybe I'm crying in my sleep. Um, Today I am coming to you with some vulnerability and to share one of my healing processes with you guys. So what I'm going to do actually, while I do that, is I'm going to take my braids out. I've become really attached to these braids. I've had them in for over a week and I really, really love them, but my head's getting fuzzy. You can see like the fuzzy hairs. So we're going to take these braids out while I share my healing process with you. And I thought that might be kind of fun because I'm going to have a big, crazy, fuzzy head afterwards and it's going to look pretty funny. So one of the things that I have been working with healing recently is, well, this is a really tiny braid, it's hard to get out, is this is huge, you guys, the abandonment of the masculine. Just really feeling this deep emptiness within me. And it's been pretty profound. It's been very, very deep. It's been very, very painful. And so as I experience the abandonment of the masculine, I still have men in my life that show up in support. And then I have some areas in my life where it feels like I'm not supported by the masculine energy in my life. And so that has triggered this healing process and this healing journey for me. And it's been super ultra intense, and I'm just curious, those of you who are deeply sensitive and are on your own spiritual healing and awakening journeys, if you've been experiencing anything similar, or just share in the comments what you've been experiencing. What healing do you need right now? What wounds have come up to the surface for you? You know, we are in the time of illumination. And so whatever we have unhealed within us, you guys, I'm going to start with a different braid because this is way too tiny. It's going to take forever. Whatever we have unhealed within us is showing up big time right now, and that is going to continue. So I encourage and invite all of you to be vulnerable with yourselves and with your partners and with your friends and let that stuff come to the surface so that you can heal. And of course, if you want support and you need a container of safety set for you, that is one thing that I do. I hold very sacred, safe space for the clients I work with and the people in the Creation Temple. So that's always available. All right, so my healing process, as I've been triggered, as these things have come into my awareness and I'm feeling that abandonment from the masculine energy, some of the things that have come up is, I'm not feeling received, I'm not feeling seen, I'm not feeling heard, I'm not feeling understood. All these, things that are important to being human and that we want and desire. So I've had a lot of anger come up around that also, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. So I started to ask myself a series of questions in my journal, and I'm going to refer to those questions as we go through this. In what ways am I not receiving myself? And one of the things that came up in answer to that when I asked myself that question is my voice and my skills and talents as an oracle. Woo, that is fun! So I know that in many other lifetimes I have been, wounded, killed, burned at the stake, head cut off, etc. for speaking up, for speaking some truths. And as we come into this time where it's more and more important that disclosure happens, and I begin to be more of a voice for that, that those fears have come up. And so I sometimes silence my voice or don't speak my truth or, say what I really want to say. I kind of hold back. And so that's actually when I'm not feeling received by somebody, well, it starts with me. So first I need to receive myself, and I need to receive my voice and allow myself to speak up. And, you know, even when it doesn't feel safe. The other day I made myself wildly vulnerable with somebody. Did not feel safe at all. But afterwards, I was like, whew, that was really powerful. I needed to say something. So those things are important. Okay, so that first question is, in what ways am I not receiving myself? And you can come up with your own questions, right? So if you are not feeling seen by somebody and you really want to be seen by that person, you want that person to see your heart, your intentions, whatever it is, first you need to fully see yourself in order to be seen by that other person. So these questions I'm sharing with you are somewhat universal, but you're going to want to come up with your own questions that make sense for you and your triggers. All right, so the second question I ask myself, in what ways am I rejecting myself? Because I've been feeling a little bit rejected by the masculine energy in some ways. And so I ask, what am I rejecting in myself also? In what ways am I rejecting myself, and what am I rejecting in myself? And some of the answers were, I'm not going to share everything because some of this is pretty, private and vulnerable, but I have been rejecting my inner child a little bit, my inner 5-year-old. She's kind of a bitch, you guys. She's very demanding. She gets really angry, and I don't like her sometimes. And I love my inner 2-year-old, and I love my inner infant, but I don't like my inner 5-year-old sometimes. We don't always get along. So sometimes I reject her, and then also sometimes I reject my elder wisdom. I may be younger in some eyes, but I do have elder wisdom energy that I carry within me, and I need to start owning that more and sharing that more and allowing that voice to come out and, when called upon or when I feel guided to share that voice. So, this is so much fun. Thanks for sharing this coming undone journey with me. All right, let's see if we can get this one here. All right, so another question that I have asked myself is, what in me am I not receiving? Now, the first question was, in what ways am I not receiving myself? So this is just another way to kind of get at the same thing, but sometimes when you ask the same question in a different way, you get different answers. And so you can get more insight about yourself by asking different questions, or the same question in a different way. So what within me am I not receiving? And my answer to that was my full spiritual sight, the discernment and the vision, my full vision for my mission. Because my mission, I can just feel within me, it's so deep, it's so huge, it's so massive. That's how it feels to my human aspect anyway. And so sometimes it's a little overwhelming. It's a little overwhelming to see it all. So sometimes I, perhaps push it away a bit and don't receive it fully. And so, these are all things when you ask yourself these questions and you get these answers, it's not about judging yourself for it. It's just about observing and noticing, and then, deciding where you want to change. So again, if you're new and just hopping on this video, what I'm doing here is sharing a healing process with you that I am using right now as I'm feeling the abandonment of the masculine energy. That's one of the wounds that has come up for me recently. Big time, massively. Been crying a lot of tears over the past week. A lot. It's been very deep. Okay. The next question is, how am I not supporting myself? And I asked that question because, again, was not feeling supported by the masculine. And so I have to look within and say, well, how am I not supporting myself? One of the answers I got back was that my masculine energy is tired. And I will tell you that is because for many, many years of my life, almost 40 years of my life, I live my life from my masculine energy mostly. And so, He's tired. He's like, it's time for the feminine to take over. So how am I not supporting myself? And then the other thing I've been doing as I've been feeling abandoned by the masculine energy is second guessing myself, which is not healthy. It is not, I do not recommend it. Trust your intuition, trust yourself. But you know, when you get into these deeper parts of yourself and into the nitty-gritty, sometimes you do start to, you know, you question yourself, you second guess. And some, you know, some reflection is good and healthy, obviously. Some, you know, when you're given feedback about something within yourself and you need to, you know, you need to reflect on that and say, is this true? Is there something I need to see? Is there a shadow aspect I need to heal? That kind of self-reflection is great. That's healthy. But when you know what's true for you and then you start to second guess it because someone said, that's not cool. And so that is not self-supporting. So when I ask, how am I not supporting myself? That's one of the answers that came through. All right. Next question I ask myself is, in what ways am I not stepping up? And I ask that question because I felt like I was not being met by the masculine energy. And so I wanted to know within myself, in what ways am I not meeting myself? In what ways am I not stepping up? And again, I'm not going to share everything that came through in that answer, but trusting myself and, you know, certain aspects and areas of my mission and with my voice, as I mentioned earlier in the video. All right, the next question I ask is, how am I holding myself back or filtering myself? Because I noticed that in feeling abandoned by the masculine energy, I began to filter my voice. I began to not speak my full truth. I began to feel intimidated and too vulnerable in the presence of certain masculine energy. I felt super vulnerable, and so I would filter myself. I would not say what I really wanted to say. And excuse me for just a second, you guys. I really need to get something to drink, so I will be right back. Awesomeness. Okay, this is one of my magical morning elixirs that I make for myself. Good stuff. That one's potent. Beetroot powder, cacao, dandy blend, butter, cayenne. Yeah, that one's full on. Okay, so in what ways am I holding myself back and filtering myself? Speaking my truth is a big one, and also being in my joy. I was having some experiences where I was holding back my joy. I was suppressing my joy because I didn't want to be too full on. I didn't want to be too much. I didn't want to be, you know, overwhelming for somebody. And gosh, that's ridiculous. If I can't be myself, what am I doing, right? So that's, you know, whatever you're going through right now, whatever wound is coming up for you, that's a good question to ask. How am I holding myself back? How am I filtering myself? Because if you are holding any part of yourself back, if you are filtering yourself, you really want to know what that is so that you can shift that, because we need to be fully expressed right now in our healthy expressions. And joy is a healthy expression. Why would I ever want to put a damper on that? So there are more questions, you guys. So in what ways am I letting myself down? And I was asking this question because I was feeling let down by the masculine energy. And so I want to know, again, always bring it back to yourself when you're doing your healing work. When you project outward on somebody and blame someone else for it, you lose your power. So always bringing these these inquiries back to yourself. In what ways am I letting myself down? And I'm not going to answer that one publicly because that one's private for me. I'm going to keep that in my heart. But that's a good, again, whatever wound is coming up for you, that is a good question to ask yourself, because, you know, we all do it. We all let ourselves down. We all hold ourselves back or don't fully express or whatever it is. We all let ourselves down sometimes. So if you're feeling let down by somebody else, it's important to ask yourself, how are you letting yourself down? Bring it back to you. All right. And then in my desire to be penetrated by the masculine energy, to be filled by the masculine energy, to be filled, which is really a desire to be filled by God, Source, the divine, right? It's not about one person. I ask, in what ways am I not meeting the depths of myself? Ooh, this is so fun. Yes. Loving this hair thing. Okay. Thanks for sharing this journey with me, coming undone. All right, I'm going to attempt this little braid now, see if we can get this one going. In what ways am I not meeting the depths of myself? I haven't gotten an answer for that one yet, but it's still there for me to inquire. All right. Another question I've asked is, how am I not seeing myself or hearing myself? And the thing that I realized that was pretty profound is that in this desire to be met by the masculine energy, in this desire to be penetrated and filled by the masculine energy, what I really want is to feel safe with my feminine energy, to expand and amplify my feminine energy. And so how am I not seeing myself or hearing myself? I have not been fully seeing my feminine, hearing my feminine, giving her a voice, allowing her to be free in her expression. Because still, I sometimes go into that, masculine default mode and start to run my life from the masculine again because I'm not feeling safe, because I'm feeling too vulnerable with my feminine. And so that is my work. That is my work to achieve, what a masculine word. That is my work to allow the emerging and unfolding of my feminine expression. All right, so the conclusion of all of this, other than the wavy braid head hair, is, and this is again applicable to whatever wound may be coming to the surface for you during these times of great illumination. The conclusion of all of this is to come back to your essence. So if I am feeling abandoned by the masculine, what is my antidote for that? Yes, I'm asking for support. When I go to bed at night, I'm asking for the divine masculine to come in and fill me and to touch my heart and to work with me and all those things. Man, this braid is really, really stubborn. It is so tiny. It's hard to get this one out. But beyond that, beyond asking for the help and support, what I can do is my practice of being with my essence. So if you guys have engaged with my content before, you know my soul essence activation. And it's just really simple. You just close your eyes, tune in, and ask yourself, how does it feel to be with my essence and energy? How does it feel to be with my essence and energy? And then I ask, how does it feel to amplify my feminine energy with my essence? Because again, if I'm feeling abandoned by the masculine, I need to amplify my feminine to attract that polarity, to allow the masculine to meet me. The masculine can only meet me to the degree where I am with my feminine. That's how the polarity of that works. And so I'm asking myself, how does it feel to be with my essence? And then further, how does it feel to amplify my feminine essence? with my soul energy and essence. And then taking it one step further, once I get into the feeling of that, and this is a practice, finally I'm making progress with this braid. This is a practice. This is something that I'm, going to continue working with each day, several times a day perhaps. Start out, how does it feel to be with my essence? How does it feel to amplify my feminine essence, connected to my essence? And then how does it feel from that place to connect to the sacred masculine essence and energy? And if you're a feeler like me, and if you're able to get yourself in that feeling space, you can begin to feel the answers to whatever questions you're asking yourself. So if you're not struggling with abandonment from the masculine energy, you ask yourself a different question. Say you're struggling with some inner child healing issues. Maybe your inner 4-year-old is upset or lonely. So you would ask yourself, how does it feel to be with my essence? How does it feel for my inner 4-year-old to be nurtured and loved and held? And so you would ask yourself questions like that to evoke some of the feeling of the healing that you desire. So I got all the braids out. Oh, I'm kind of sad, you guys. I really like those braids. They were so much fun. Maybe my friend Alessandra will come back to town and give me new braids. This is really funny. I could really fluff it up if I want to, I could really get it puffy, but I kind of like it unpuffy, so I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. Thank you for joining me on this Becoming Undone journey. Right now, like I've said, this is the time of illumination. This is a time where much is being disclosed and exposed, and some of it's really hard to see, and some of it's not fun, and the stuff that's being illuminated within ourselves is not always easy to deal with. But, got some cayenne in my throat on that one. But if you are willing, maybe I should not drink when I do these. If you are willing to look at your shadow and confront your stuff, if you are willing, the illumination will serve you greatly. Because when you see all of yourself, it doesn't matter what other people see in you or how other people see you, because you're like, oh yeah, I'm dealing with that, or oh yeah, I've looked at that, I'm good. Not that you're ever good, because there are always more layers to dive into, but you know what I'm saying. It's like no one can have power over you, because you're like, yeah, I'm on it, I'm dealing with it. And that's the place that I've come to, and I'm coming to in my journey is, if someone points something out to me, like I can tell if it's their projection of me or if there's something I need to work on and look at. And that's really powerful to have that knowing within yourself, especially when you're in intimate relationships and friendships. If someone gets upset with you or whatever and they start projecting on you, it's like, okay, well, I'm dealing with the stuff on my end, so you need to deal with your crap, because I'm handling it, I'm doing it. And that's really powerful. So thank you again for joining me on this journey. This has been a lot of fun to share my healing process with you. If you've just joined in and you didn't see the beginning, go ahead and see me with the braids still in my hair. But also those questions that I ask myself are really powerful, and you can use those questions for yourself, or you can use those own questions. Some of those questions are specific to being abandoned by the masculine. Some of those questions are universal, and you can ask them and get really cool insights about where you are in your journey and what you need to heal. So much love, you guys. Appreciate you. I will see you in the next video. Wow. Have a beautiful day.